makes me wanna holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? Need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Yeah, you know we need them. We all need strategies, don't we? Strategies for living. Welcome into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, and another edition of our little program here that we call Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillan. She is PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillan. Lauren, it's Valentine's. I can't believe it's already Valentine's week, right?
Yes.
And so the rest of this week, I propose we call our little program Strategies for Loving.
Ooh, I like that.
You like that?
We could all use a lot more of that in our lives
Oh,
today.
tell me about it. Well, so, what are you getting me for Valentine's Day?
The secret, I'm going to tell you.
No, don't do that to me.
The biggest one, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Me.
Oh, there you go. I like it.
Good.
I'm
glad.
I will reciprocate if that's okay.
I would greatly appreciate that.
So let's focus this evening on some patterns. Couples who have quote unquote made it. Mm-hmm. Which I think is an ongoing process.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure that you ever can announce we made it.
No. What? Well, because where would you be going?
Yeah. But we're
all running towards death, not to be,
But you can still identify what successful coupling is. I mean, we all know, we all have couples friends, and you kind of know and you sense when you're around people for any period of time, whether those folks are truly happy or not.
Sure.
We're going to talk
Energy
about
speaks.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to talk about this evening, what are some things that therapists have noticed, some patterns in couples who are, let's not say made it, but are continuing the process of making
growing each other, making each other better.
Yeah.
And spreading their love into the world.
So that's what I want to focus on this evening, on strategies for living. Are you hip to that?
I'm game. You turned my music down.
Well, I'm going to turn it back up here in a second if I can figure out how to do it.
Yeah. All right.
Welcome into Strategies for Living, folks. Thank you for being here, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitas Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage. Couples who have made it or are making it. What are the patterns? Back in a moment.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem drab. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
And welcome into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. You know, through the years, Lauren, seeing couples, and I saw a lot of couples. I don't over the 30 years, I don't even know. I mean, a bunch of couples.
Right.
And you think back to, I really enjoyed all of the work with individuals and couples, but I particularly enjoyed the first session of couples. And I'll never forget one. I walked in, and I didn't do anything scripted. It was all pretty much spontaneous and but intuitive, but I would always need to very early. Well, what are you doing? How can I help you? What brings you in?
Right.
And with a couple,
they might not always agree on what brings them in.
Well, yeah, but I remember one particular. I've got this couple in my mind right now, and they came in, and I asked, well, what brings you in? And he looked at her, and she looked at me, and she says, we're here for you to tell him how wrong he is.
Oh, gosh.
You can imagine how that began to unfold.
Yeah.
Actually, sometimes it was surprising when some people would come in and be so certain about, something in the beginning. But as you begin to open up to conversation, and let's write the word conversation up here on the radio, right?
Yes.
We'll write it up here on the board. All right, well, look at that word conversation.
Looks a lot like another word.
Yeah, what would that word be?
Converse. Or convert.
Yeah.
Or conversion.
Our conversion, yeah. So, and I mean, you mentioned we're focusing this evening because we're in Valentine's week.
And that brings up another Valentine's item, right?
Yeah.
Which is conversation hearts.
Okay.
Right? The little candies with the...
Oh, yeah, that had the little messages.
They're called conversation hearts.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And
hadn't had one of those in a long time.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of them, but I haven't,
Yeah. But you got to love them at Valentine's Day.
Yeah, they're symbolic, right?
Yeah, I remember when we were in grade school, we would put them in the cards. Everybody, we would prepare Valentine cards for all our classmates, right?
Yes.
And you'd put the little Valentine's hearts in there.
Candy or the conversation hearts, yeah. And so maybe, maybe that doesn't end at childhood, right? Like maybe we should continue that conversation, the conversation hearts, right? In what way can we open our hearts to each other and allow that to convert and, one, to converse with each other.
Conversing is, and everybody would agree probably that, it's the lifeblood of a coupling relationship. A couple is the conversation that you have. But why is it so important? Because we're there to grow together. We're there to, through the conversation, through the conversing, allowing conversion. Right.
Well, because if we break it down etymologically, right, we know con.
Here she goes again, using them big words.
Listen, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Because con means with, right?
Yep.
With or together.
Yep.
And the root for the rest, ver, is actually were.
Okay.
Which is one we actually have in a lot of words, and it simply means to turn. Or to bend.
Yeah.
So to converse with one another just means to
bend with each other. Turn and bend with each other.
Together, with each other.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it?
That's beautiful.
And that's truly what good conversation is. It's about a bending, a stretching to understand another's perspective. And with that bending and turning, we can internally bend and turn and change our own world.
And in the doing so, we are dealing with our own ego self, if you will.
Right.
We are,
we're engaging those scripts.
Yeah. Because we all have them. We all have scripts, or you could call them stories, messages, beliefs.
The tapes we play in our head.
That get installed very early. By all kinds of sources. Doesn't matter where they came from. What does matter is as all of us reach adulthood, we are responsible for those tapes, if you will, those messages, beliefs that play over and over.
Those are conversations as well.
Oh, absolutely,
They're just with ourselves.
Absolutely.
And quite accurately, they do with turn. They just turn in circles and circles inside of us, right?
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so we are exploring today on strategies, some patterns, if you will, that have been noticed by couples therapists. And these patterns really indicate that this couple
is thriving.
Is really, there's a lot of hopefully marital satisfaction here, and we are
growing and bettering each other,
growing in the marriage, peaceful in the marriage, bettering each other in the marriage, all of that.
Yeah.
All right, so let me give all 7 of these.
Okay.
And then there's 7 of them. You gotta, you have to have 3 or 7
3,
or
5, 7,
12. You got to have one of the big numbers, right?
Yeah.
7's one of those impactful numbers. So let me give all 7 of these, and then we're going to come back and we'll break them down. We'll talk about them, item by item. Okay, so and this is interesting because number 1 here is they had boundaries with family. And that makes total sense if you think about it, because we all come from families.
Yes.
And we're making a new family. So number 1 is they had boundaries with families. Number 2, they were friends. Number 3, they had been through really dark times. Number 4, they let each other be themselves. Number 5, they had difficult conversations. Number 6, this may surprise some people, they fought. And we'll talk about this in detail as we move on. And number 7, they made light of each other's quirks. Now, let me just stop here.
Okay.
And ask you, they had boundaries with family.
Yeah.
They were friends. They had been through really dark times.
Yes.
They let each other be themselves.
Yeah.
They had difficult conversations. They fought. They made light of each other's quirks. Just on the surface, what do you think about those 7 patterns, if you will, in relationship?
I think they are all deeply vital pieces of a healthy evolutionary relationship. They all make sense in terms of, we can talk about puppy love, right? In terms of ego love, in terms of, we're just going to appreciate each other for what we think each other is from afar.
Right.
But if you're committed, if you're in a committed relationship with someone, that can be the biggest point of growth and development for both of you. Right? And so if you truly want to make the most of that opportunity, which is to come towards the port of unity, right? To make it the biggest impact out of that opportunity, you will likely engage in all of these. Right. Yeah, right. I really love this list.
So number 1 is they had boundaries with family. So, we come from families.
Right.
And our families shape us. Our families, are no doubt, for most of us, are very impactful in either a positive way or a negative way, or, they're impactful in our lives.
Sure, they shape us into the people we are.
However, what are we doing when we couple and come together and decide to be a couple and to get married and to form a new family?
It brings to mind so many old traditional songs, but also scripture and rituals in terms of when a couple comes together, right? We display that in a wedding ceremony.
Yep.
Right? The father, often the tradition is the father brings the bride,
right?
As a symbol of she is leaving her family and he is leaving his. And we can think of I keep thinking of the traditional wedding song, right, by Paul McCartney, right? This is Love.
Oh, that's by Paul Stokely.
Paul Stokely, the other Paul. Thank you.
The Paul from Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That one. And he quotes scripture, right? A man shall leave his mother and a woman
leave her home.
home.
The two shall travel on to where the two shall be as one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's the other piece, right? The two shall be as one. That's another important symbology that energetically over time as a couple, it is a great truth. Right. When you spend enough time with a person, the two become one.
Yeah.
And so in that, it's important to recognize that, yes, you are still your own person. You are still each individuals. But there is also this great birthing of a new entity.
Of something new.
Which is the we.
So they put, successful couples put their new relationship first and have clear boundaries with the family from which they came out of. They make decisions based on not what their family wants, but what they want together, what they want individually and then together. And they do what's best for the partnership together. And I think that's very, very important. We're talking about patterns today. Valentine's is coming. If you don't have your Valentine's gift, now's a good time to go get it.
Intent.
Warning. We're talking about successful patterns of couples who are making it in a big way here on Strategies. We'll be back. We've got more to unpack here on Strategies for Living. Stay with us. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with LearningRx Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, LearningRx Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call LearningRx Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does LearningRx Shreveport.
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wanna holler, get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
And you found it right here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. It's Valentine's week. Can you believe it? And we're talking about what successful couples do, the patterns of successful couples, and who are continuing to grow together, make it together. And you don't make it. You're making it.
Right. No, there is no end goal.
No, because even after, the relationship, all relationships, and I know this is probably not a great thing to mention, but all relationships end.
Yes.
On a physical level by death or divorce.
Right.
And, but even
in the form that they're in now.
In the form, that they're presently in. But even after relationships, quote unquote, end, I would propose that they don't end.
No, and I would even propose that our experience of and our creation of experiences of relationships in form are actually beyond form.
Okay.
Again, what I mean by that is, when we get in a relationship with someone, I think we've all had that experience if we've been in a deep, meaningful relationship, that there's something beyond the physical there that's created, that's almost magical and beyond words. And I think once we move beyond form, that is a glimpse into the beyond form, that feeling, that unconditional love, that intensity.
We are spiritual beings, and you're touching on the spiritual, and that's one of the things.
And it makes total sense because this is a world of relativity.
Yep.
Which means that everything exists because we see and acknowledge and believe that there are separate things which we can have relationships to or with.
Yep.
Right? And so also what that means is that the relationship then becomes this ship, if you will. Right? It becomes this.
It truly becomes a relationship.
It becomes a vehicle.
Let's sail.
Right. A vessel through which we're able to explore unknown territory. Right? To explore the beyond.
Yep.
To explore beyond myself, my own experience in relationship.
I like it. All right. So one of the patterns, and we talked about last segment, they had boundaries with family. Another is that they were friends. They genuinely enjoyed spending time with each other. The most successful relationships that I had the honor of working with through the years were the ones who had at the foundation a true friendship as individuals. They're married. They got married. They decided to get together. But what always, continued was that marital friendship.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, friends generally enjoy spending time with one another. You're excited to come home. And hey, let's catch up on the long day. Yeah. And so friendship is the basis of the relationship. You and I work together now.
Yes.
But we still, at the end of the day, when we come home, we catch up.
Right.
Even though we've been together, and sometimes we're together. We're not always together in the same office,
right?
The same physical office. Sometimes you're seeing a person, I'm seeing a different person. Sometimes we're working with a person together, but oftentimes, we still catch up because you don't know what I was thinking. Right. I don't know what you were thinking, and that's something that's important for us to unpack when we get into the safety of where we call home.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, that, it might sound goofy because we did experience the same events externally, but
sometimes, yeah.
Well, but even if we did experience the same events, that doesn't mean our individual experiences of the events were the same
because
by any way, shape, or form.
And we're going to kind of get into this in a future one of these patterns a little bit more, but we each have a unique way of seeing the world.
Yes.
And that includes the things that we see together.
Right. I think that's so vital, so important especially for couples, but for everyone to understand that, we may have been in the same room when this event happened, but I have no idea what your experience of that event was like unless I ask and unless we engage in a conversation about it.
Right. Absolutely. And we're working on 5 years of marriage, and so we've been a few places here and there, and sometimes you go along with, okay, I say I want to go here or there, and that might not be the top of your list, but you go, and vice versa. Right. You might say I want to go here or there. That may not be the top of my list, but I go, and I go, and I hope you go, because I don't just want the experience of wherever we happen to be headed to, whatever that is, but I want to see it through your eyes. I want to be able to experience it through your perception. So we each have a way of looking at the world, and if we're friends, if you're truly friends, that's part of what you want to share. That's the
shared experience,
the marrow, if you will. That gets down into the marrow of the bone, of friendship. And that's the kind of friendship.
Sharing each other's worlds.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And allowing that to happen, because that's a special type of intimacy.
Intimacy.
Intimacy, yes.
Yeah.
That's a unique and special type of intimacy that, unfortunately, is rare in the world.
Right. I think there's a lot of fear around vulnerability out there, and that's something we as a collective really need to look at, because we can't see into each other. We can't see into ourselves without embracing the vulnerability of being open and allowing ourselves to be who we are at the greatest capacity that we have.
Right. So,
and that's a great gift that you could give to each other.
Amen.
And I think, that kind of, I don't know if that's the next one, but that leads into one of them.
So they had boundaries with family. They were friends, and they had been through some really dark times, or tough times, however you want to say this.
Yeah.
So life is, what's in the middle of life? If, and that's what we get, that's it.
Life
and
happens.
So, why do we sign up for this thing called marriage? I won't get the quote exact, but there was a movie many, many years ago called Shall We Dance?
Yes.
And there was a quote in that movie about why we do this. Why do we get married?
Right.
And the main actor says it's because we're seeking witness.
We need a witness to
There's
our lives.
billions and billions of people in the world, right?
Yeah.
But as long as we're with each other, we're each other's witness.
That's right.
And I've always liked that quote. I wish I had it here in front of me, but I don't.
It's a good one, and it speaks a great truth, not just of marriage, but of life in general.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we're here to do for and through each other, is to witness each other's lives.
So, we go through difficult times. Sometimes we go through dark times.
And I don't think that this doesn't mean that this is a gatekeeping sort of idea where, well, you're not really a real couple if you haven't been through hard times.
No, because you're if you're together.
If you're together long enough, you're going.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to face some things together, whether whatever,
like it or not,
whatever your
ready or not, here we come. Here it comes.
Whatever your judgment of hard times might be, right?
Yeah.
There's no one thing worse than another, but to go through life together is going to come with some, you're going to have to learn to lean into each other's perceptions.
Right.
And to deal with that, to manage that.
So going through difficult times is a given. And where we come to crossroads in our lives, and, maybe even have second thoughts, and not necessarily second thoughts about the relationship, although maybe,
Yeah, sure.
And you make a choice. You make a choice to, if you're questioning the relationship, you make a choice to stay together. You make a choice to turn towards each other.
Yeah, instead of away.
But if you know, in more often than not, there's just other difficult things in life that we go through. Making that decision to go through it with each other.
Yes.
Turning towards each other, supporting each other. This really establishes and maintains a sense of trust and safety.
Yeah.
That's beyond, really beyond description.
Right. I mean, to be able to hold each other, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, hold the space for each other.
Yeah.
And I think with this piece, we have to talk about this is where couples face the reality that coupling is not always 50-50 and almost never is.
No.
So it's about willing to accept that through the hard times. I'm gonna carry you and you'll carry me on
Sometimes
occasion.
it's going to be 20-80. Sometimes it's going to be 100-0. Sometimes it's, you know, we can shoot for 50-50, but it's not going to happen very often.
Yeah.
You know, but just knowing that.
Yeah, and being able
important.
to voice that to each other. You know, I got 20 today.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
There you go. There you go. We're talking patterns of couples who are making it here this evening on Strategies for Living. We'll be back. More to come.
From the bayou to your table, we're keeping it alive with flavors from the family passed down to survive. The Godfather's here with a twist in the tail, alligator Italian sausage, and it sure won't fail. It's the boss of the bayou, a taste you can't refuse. Italian tradition, Cajun infused. Godfather sausage, bold and true. Andres bringing the bayou to you.
Get the Godfather alligator Italian sausage only at Fertitta's Delicatessen, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Pick up a muffy while you're there. The Godfather alligator Italian sausage. It's a taste you can't refuse. Sold only at Fertitta's, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Dealing with stress, pain, feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's. Thebalancedlife.us.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies for living radio.
And here we are. Here we are on 101.7 FM, 710 Peel. Yeah, Strategies for Living Radio. We're talking about what do successful couples do? What patterns? If you watch, if you see, if you observe couples who are really making it, what patterns are you going to see? Well, you're going to see that they had boundaries with their family. You're going to see that they were friends. You're going to see that they've been through some really dark times together, and they let each other be themselves, Lauren. And this one, you know, they're all important.
This one would be high on the list for me.
This one gets asterisked.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting when you first started rereading the list of 7, I was kind of anticipating you to ask me, okay, if you had to pick which one was the most important.
Yeah.
Right. And this one was high on the list of that anticipated question. You didn't ask me that.
I didn't put you on the spot.
You didn't put me on the spot like that. But this one stood out to me as, if we could get here, this is where true healing takes place in relationship.
Absolutely. And the reason for that is because this one, letting each other be themselves, is really about respect. Mm-hmm. It's about respect, and it's about admiration for one another, rather than a desire to change each other. Mm-hmm. There's a play that we're going to see Saturday night at Shreveport Little Theater. I love the title of it. Yeah. I haven't seen it before, so what is it? I love you. I love you. You're perfect. Now change. Yeah. So I'm looking. We've got tickets. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I always look forward to going to Shreveport Little Theater. Mm-hmm. But how many times do couples say, we fall in love, that magical time, we say, you're perfect for me. Now you need to change this, and this, and it just happens.
Right.
And so
those ego boundaries come back up. What
is true respect and admiration? It's letting each other be who they are. This is freedom. This is freedom, and this kind of freedom brings out, I think, the best parts
in both parties
of each other. Yep.
Yeah.
Letting each other be themselves. Another is difficult conversations. Mm. And it's these next two kind of relate together, I think. So couples who are making it are willing and ready and stand ready to have difficult conversations, because you communicate regularly and you're open to each other's perspectives. When that is the case, you're not going to agree with each other 100% of the time.
You're two different people.
Absolutely.
Right.
I absolutely love you, but you are absolutely wrong about the toilet paper. And how it is to be. You're just absolutely wrong. I mean, everybody knows that you put the toilet paper and it comes
an over or an under.
And you're absolutely just wrong about that. Period. End of the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really don't have a preference, so you're fine with that one on me.
Yeah.
I know there are strong overs and strong unders in the world, but I'm not either of those. So
okay, well, I guess I guess I can't.
You're not going to be able to pick a fight with me on air today.
Okay, all right. Well, I tried. I did.
It was valiant effort.
I did my best. Okay. But having being willing to have difficult conversations, all kidding aside, is absolutely necessary to growing each other, yourselves, and each other, and you as a couple.
Right. Because what that communicates, when you sit down, I know, depending on how people's upbringings and what your beliefs are about confrontation, we have different resistances to having the difficult conversations.
Right.
But you engaging in the difficult conversation communicates to your partner that, above all else, I value our relationship because I'm willing to engage in this conversation that may be very difficult for me, may be very difficult for us, but it's so much more important to me that we understand each other and that we're able to communicate that in a safe and loving space.
Yes.
So that we can come to some kind of growth point together.
And so the next one is kind of related to having these difficult conversations. And I said earlier in the program, some people may be surprised that to hear me say this, but successful couples who are making it, fight. Mm-hmm. So they fought. All couples fight. I mean, it's just a given that, that you're going to have disagreements at points along the way. How do you handle them? How do you do those?
How do you fight?
How do you fight? Do you fight?
Unquote.
Do you fight fairly? Do you allow each other to each express each other's truths and listen to each other's truths.
And hold space
for that.
And reflect back to each other that I understand this is what you're saying, and this is my perspective, and this is how I feel.
All right, so what we're really talking about here is when we say, all successful couples fight, they've learned or are learning how to navigate conflict.
Right.
Because conflict is inevitable. It's inevitable. We are different people. We have different histories. We have different ways of thinking. We have different ways of perceiving even the same things, right? Mm-hmm. And so how do we navigate conflict? How do we bounce back? How do we move forward once we are into the conflict? So fighting is important.
Yes.
And
fighting fair.
Fighting fair.
And learning together and, allowing yourself to have those moments where, that wasn't really a fair fight. Being able to make those repair attempts with each other and accepting the repair attempts.
Through the years, the couples that I had most difficult helping were the ones that came in and told me we never fight.
Right. Yep.
And so oftentimes I knew, one of the things that we got to do real quick is teach you how to do that.
Right.
And much to my chagrin, oftentimes that took place in the counseling room.
Right. It's the safest place to learn.
There you go. All right. And number 7, they made light of each other's quirks. They appreciated and they acknowledged the quirks in themselves and one another.
Yes.
Even if at times they were annoyed, and they still made light of them and were never critical. They were never hypercritical of each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're smiling.
I'm smiling because I'm thinking about my little socks that you love so much.
Those little socks end up you never know. We were moving.
Yes. And the little socks
showed up in the driveway.
Yeah.
Loading the moving van.
Yes.
I don't understand, but I just went with it.
I appreciate it.
We're talking about what makes successful couples this evening here on Strategies for Living. Be right back. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
Life gets hard along the way. Gotta get through it day by day. We get strategies right here. Strategies for living radio. Our dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living
And we got them right here on 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking today about what makes couples successful. What are the patterns of successful couples? They had boundaries with their family. They were friends. They had been through tough times, dark times. They let each other be themselves. They had difficult conversations. They continue to have difficult conversations. They fight. And they make light of each other's little quirkiness. Mm-hmm. What are you pulling away from our program today? What's your takeaway?
I think these are all excellent little, what we might call green flags, right?
Green flag.
Yeah, you have red flags for warning. Yeah. This is not a good relationship. But I'm going to call
yellow
these
flags, slow down.
Yeah, but
these are green flags.
These are go full speed ahead. Okay. If you are able to engage in these as a couple, continue on. And if you hear in any of these something you could work on, go for it. I mean, I'd encourage you to work. I mean, that's the point of this conversation, right? Is to notice the patterns of successful couples who are making it. And as we mentioned at the beginning, it's not just a end goal.
No, it's an ongoing.
It's an ongoing, continuing to work on all of these points,
and
of these
and
patterns.
Hopefully we grow. How often do I say, if I right to the end, I want to be a curious student, and so we grow until we're out of here.
That's right.
And
hopefully,
right now we got to get out of here because that's what the clock on the wall says. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you,
folks. Thank you, and we appreciate our sponsors making Strategies for Living possible: the Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing. And Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center. And Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, alligator, Italian sausage, and some pretty doggone good muffies, too. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.